Hi, I'm Sanford Devoe. I'm the Senior Associate Dean of MBA programs here at the Anderson School of Management. I'm here with Terry Kramer, one of our stellar faculty and the director of the Easton Center for Technology Management. And we're here to just have a little chat about Anderson's approach to artificial intelligence. Terry, you are one of our outstanding faculty, a real thought leader in this space. And one of the challenges you give your students in your class is the so what, so what of it. What do you think the so what of AI is?
It's a great question because the so what is that AI is affecting almost every part of our life. So I always think about who are the people that are affected by AI. It's affecting customers because the products and services that we experience are changing. So virtual assistants and virtual tutors in education and in healthcare, as an example, autonomous vehicles in transportation. It's affecting customers. It's affecting enterprises. So companies and their competitive positioning are fundamentally being affected. You know, we talk about disruptive innovation, which is, a concept that's been out for 20 years plus that often technology companies use to disrupt an industry. Well, now we're seeing AI as a disruptive force. And so many companies, traditional companies, are having to think about how do they transform? How do they start taking on data and AI and changing their products and services? So it's affecting enterprises, number two. And then number three, most profoundly, it's affecting society. It's affecting society in terms of a bunch of good things that can happen. New forms of education, of healthcare, of transportation that are lower cost, that are more accurate because now it's personalized, not one to many, but personalized, and the ability to provide broad access. You don't have to come to a physical place. You can be anywhere. So it has a bunch of good things. It can also harm society. If it's not managed well, it'll create a digital divide. And as you've kind of set up in the AI task forces, we do not want to be a party to creating the divide. We need to bring everybody along on this journey.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we're really committed to as a school is developing transformative leaders here. And how do you see this playing out with us building that skill set?
Yeah, so I think the timing could not be better in terms of the symbiotic relationship between what's going on with AI and transformative leaders. So when you look at a variety of the skills and experiences required to be a transformative leader, several of them come to play here. Number one, being tech savvy. People need to know what AI is. What are the use cases? What does it take to do well? All of that they need to know. They need to be innovative and creative. So when you get into AI, you have to start thinking laterally and creatively about, is product changing? So today we drive as an example. Well, in the future, it's going to be a robo-taxi as a potential. In education, everything has been one-to-many. And now it may start going one-to-one, more personalized. So products are going to change. How companies monetize is going to change. So that ability to think laterally and creatively matters. And then importantly, a variety of skills, and you've got much deeper domain expertise than I do, but how do organizations react to this? It is not an easy task to say fundamentally products are changing, services are changing, skills are changing. How do you manage that? And all that's part of transformative leaders.
Yeah, no, the disruption that's happening in higher education is enormous.
Yeah.
And from the very get-go on the AI task force, we decided as a school, and this was with the support of the dean, to really embrace AI at Anderson and not do it thoughtlessly, but do it in a responsible and secure manner. And so, this has started this year, really, I think, where we really changed the defaults, where we encourage everyone of our students to use AI for their assignments, unless the assignment specifically says not to use AI for it. And what that's done is really liberated students. They're not sort of afraid of cheating because of that clarity that comes from that. And it's really challenged our faculty to rethink their deliverables and to make AI weaved throughout the curriculum. And the student response has been really incredible. We have AI reps for all of our MBA programs, and they engage with the faculty and really try to figure out, what is the way to enhance learning. And that's really what we came back to again, time and time again on the AI task force, is that we are a learning institution. That's our competitive advantage here. We want to lead with curiosity, and we want to use these tools to enhance learning at the school.
Yeah, I think it was such a masterful move, because when I ask people about technology, like I'll do this with my students, I'll do it with people that are potential speakers in my class. I'll ask them, what is your view on AI? Tell me how you're using it. Tell me the use cases. People have to use it to have an intelligent answer. When I tend to hear people say, AI is great and nothing's going to stop it and get out of its way, or the opposite, it's the end of the human species as we know it, I then start asking more penetrating questions. How are you using it? What do you see? And often people have not used it. That is not a good place to be. Usually when people are using it engaged, just like people, there's good and bad. And that's part of building a relationship. And so that to me was a really good move that you made that said basically the default is opt-in. So all classes opt in on using AI, and it forces an important discussion about, in the classroom, what are you trying to train people on? Because the beauty and the goal of AI is to allow all of us to move to a higher level of analysis. Because over time, basic analytic tasks are going to get automated. And so what matters more, and I tell my students this, is, what'll happen is the basic research on the company or tech product or whatever is going to get commoditized. But your ability to understand what innovation is going to happen when, how do you think about transforming, how do you think about customer adoption, those are the complex issues. And that's what you want to reserve your time for.
And this is where, the MBA can really turbocharge the power of AI. And it's really about asking the right questions, being able to connect those dots, and ask the so what of what you're doing. And so, what we're seeing in our curriculum right now is that AI is weaved throughout the core curriculum, and that when you come to your capstone experience, AI is, you begin that with AI. AI is the starting point of it. And the capstones allow you to apply AI in a very sort of safe environment and in practical ways. And so what I think is so, kind of critical about that is that at every step of the process, you're developing this skill and you're learning the material with AI. And my hope is that when students graduate, it will be so much easier for them to draw upon all the learning that they've had, because it'll be at their fingertips. They remember, setting up a simulation with a disgruntled worker in their OB class, and how do you deal with that? They'll be like, oh, that'll remind them of that. So my hope is that this really becomes a turbo learning tool for students throughout the rest of their career.
Absolutely. And I think, what's been so good about the policy you set up and the vision is kind of two angles here. One is you have to learn about AI as a domain. So in a variety of our classes, et cetera. And the second is you need to use it as a tool. And both of those allow you to be better at what you do. And, in all the studies about AI, you have the benefit of getting better productivity, better insights, et cetera. But as a reminder, the people that don't use it, they have the risk of falling way behind. And, we as a public institution and a school of business leadership, we want to make sure we're turning out the next generation of leaders that are advancing not only themselves, but the organizations around them. So I just think all the ingredients are in place to have this happen.
Well, we've talked about the curriculum, but AI is everywhere at Anderson. And one of the places is at the centers. And you are the director of the Easton Center for Technology Management. You got just had the Tech and Society conference last
Yeah.
week that was devoted to AI. Can you just tell us a little bit about the offerings that happen through the centers in terms of AI?
Yeah. So maybe I'll start out with the curriculum and then talk about the conferences and the like. So we offer a variety of courses when people want to deep dive in a specific topic. So in AI, now we have 3 different classes in AI. We have an AI Essentials class. So just understanding the basic workings of AI and how that impacts product-related issues. That's taught by Brad Knoll. Brad Knoll is the head of product and AI for Reputation.com. We have a second class that's AI in operations. So how does AI actually get used in creating product, in marketing products, in thinking about talent decisions, in thinking about financial reporting? It's the next level down in saying, how is AI being used? Todd Holloway teaches that. Todd is the former head of AI for Nike, who's the head of AI for Netflix, and now he's a White House presidential fellow focused on the US government's use of AI. Super talented. We have a third class in AI that's management in an age of AI. So this is more at a 50,000 foot level. If you're the leader in the company, how do you think about it fundamentally changing? What are the imperatives in the organization? Do you need to change the organization and the talent to make sure you're ready? How do you think differently about product and product management? Do you need to fundamentally change the type of product? How are you going to monetize? In the financial world, how do you think about risk, data risks of all types? But it's all at a 50,000 foot level. Cy Cormie teaches that class. Cy headed up at Google, was one of the product directors, all the security products. Now he's a VP of product for Attentive Mobile. So all the platform of messaging, et cetera. So great people there. And then almost all of our Easton classes relate to AI in some way. We have 2 product management classes, one on discovery, one on delivery. I teach the foundational tech management class and a tech and society class. Those both fundamentally have AI in them, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot of things in the curriculum, and then you've done a lot on the core curriculum and all the other classes, because the vision is AI is the new runtime of the company, what Satya Nadella said at Microsoft, and that's the mantra here. So that's, first of all, on the curriculum side, what the Easton Center is doing. And then we host a variety of conferences and workshops and leadership learning sessions that give our students an update and opportunity to understand what's going on in the future, with a big focus on the mental software. So we're not here to just tell you what's the latest release of iOS and what it's doing. You can go online and do that. We're teaching people the so what, the mental software of leadership. How do you think about innovation? How do you think about organization? How do you think about the role in society? All of those things when we have speakers. So we just had our Tech and Society conference that you referenced. We had Sal Khan, the founder of the Khan Academy. And he talked about their latest release of Khanmigo. Khanmigo is a generative AI-based virtual tutor. All of a sudden, it changes the model, even for the Khan Academy, kind of a digital first company, now from one-to-many watching videos to one-to-one. In the process of one-to-one, you can gauge the speed of education required. And in general, they've identified 30% faster learning with this adaptive capability. So he spoke. We had Wei Lo speak. Wei is the head of autonomous vehicles for NVIDIA. NVIDIA is one of the most talked about tech companies today. She talked about the complexity of making autonomous vehicles work, and importantly, the public policy issues about safety and what are the safety standards. And then we had Dee Dee Myers speak. Dee Dee Myers is the head of economic development for the state of California, appointee of Gavin Newsom. She was a former White House press secretary for Bill Clinton. And she talked about how do you build a state that encourages innovation? What is the environment and the ecosystem you have to create? And then how do you think about what the guardrails are? Mm-hmm. Really important learnings, because we all love to say everything's all good or bad. Yeah. Get out of the tech company's way and let them create, or again, let me regulate them to death. Well, the reality is you've got to make the decisions that are trade-offs there that create the best outcomes with the least harm. So those are a little bit of the things that we got going at the Easton Center.
Yeah. No, one of the foundations of our approach to education here at Anderson is that reflection and this is sort of perfectly set up for people to approach AI in a thoughtful way and to sort of understand that sort of jagged frontier. Where is it really good? Where are the pitfalls?
Yes. And you know what's masterful about that, again, at Sanford, is that's where we as leaders and as humans will differentiate ourselves.
Yeah, exactly.
That is the complex stuff. That's why you get an MBA, why you have to know those things to be an effective leader. Other things are going to get more automated, and that's okay because we want to work on the most complex stuff. That's the reason we're here.
Yeah. Well, we're in California, and I think of Anderson as being an incredibly agile place, but I'm still impressed with us just as a school and as a faculty about how quickly we've pivoted because the pace of change has been like enormous.
Yeah.
But it really, for me, it comes back to our commitment to transformative leaders and to the flywheel. Specifying that we did that 5 years ago, right? And it perfectly set us up to have a framework to think about how are we going to adapt to this new technology.
Absolutely.
But we owe a lot to thought leaders like you that have really, really pushed us as a school to be at the forefront of this.
The feeling is absolutely mutual. And, the great thing about Anderson, it's a place of heart and head, the combination of the two, because sometimes things get imbalanced. But, we want to be good thinkers and we want to be lateral, but we also come from a point of view of shared success. We come from a point of view of how I interface with you is going to create something greater. 1 + 1 = 3. And that is really the kind of the essence of the school that I think works so well.
Fantastic. Thanks so much, Terry.
You bet. Good to be with you.